Hello, happy Saturday. Happy March 22nd, I think. Got Finny here, all cozy with me, ready to record the video of today. Just took a break from completely dismantling a car, which is crazy. It's crazy that you can just do that, you know? Got my Topic jar, as always. Oh. Huh. Cardio. So I was very in the paleo space for a while, and the first paleo influencer that I was exposed to and kind of followed was Mark Sisson from Mark's Daily Apple. And one of his catchphrases that he would say is chronic cardio, because one of the I don't know, norm busting, talking points of the primal blueprint, that's what it was called. So it wasn't just like a diet thing, it was like a lifestyle thing. One of its tenets was that humans evolved to either walk for a really long time, so really low intensity exercise for a long time, or and sprint occasionally and lift heavy things. We did not evolve, according to this blueprint, we did not evolve to do medium to medium high intensity cardio for lengths of time. We didn't evolve to go for a jog or go for a run or go to a spin class or whatever. So that phrase, chronic cardio, just implanted itself in my brain and stayed there for a decade. And the way it was framed was that doing too much cardio, or in that kind of way, is a stressor on the body. And the whole reason that I got into thinking about nutrition, being exposed to paleo, all of that, was because I had an autoimmune disease. So I was anytime people would attribute something to oh, that could be a stressor on the body, my brain would just really latch on to that and be really afraid of it. But I also do think that I am predisposed to being afraid of movement or activity, which is interesting because the same pattern, the same thing happened to me with ab exercises, which I'll talk about in a different video. I think that's a topic. But I've never naturally been somebody who is drawn to running or anything like that. It wasn't there before I got sick. There was a period of time where I was trying to go for jogs in the morning at 5 a.m. before going to school, before going to middle school. Before going to middle school, I would get up in the dark and go for a jog. And I never felt good during it. I didn't like it. I could be pretty fast, but I was not naturally an endurance athlete at all. So that probably factored into it as well. But the kind of arc of that story, the arc of my relationship with cardiovascular exercise, is that when I started tracking my heart rate variability and paying attention to that, and once I learned and understood that just resting heart rate is probably the biggest determinant of heart rate variability. So if you have a lower resting heart rate, your HRV will be higher, which is better in generally better. it finally occurred to me, like, I don't really do cardio. Like, I walk every day because I have a dog. I'll go for like long hikes occasionally. I love that. Um, but like, as far as like any kind of actual training, had never done that. And it, yeah, just occurred to me that this was a huge, just like a huge blind spot or weak link in my overall, you know, fitness, and one that could very possibly improve the metrics that I was paying attention to. And because I was now in this mindset of like just attacking patterns as I notice them rather than necessarily needing to understand a possible linkage between cardiovascular fitness and exercise and like autoimmune disease, I was just like, oh, this is like an obvious thing that seems to be missing from myself. Why not just play with this? So I actually ended up like getting a stationary bike, a recumbent stationary bike, and finding a POTS focused exercise plan. So like postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, that's what POTS is. It's a form of dysautonomia where the like when a person with POTS stands up, they'll get really elevated heart rate, and it's just like a big stressor on their body, and their autonomic nervous system is not able to like adequately regulate it. And I don't have that. I don't have POTS, but I do notice having increased autoimmune symptoms when I have to stand for long periods of time. And there are a lot of observations about myself and my body that would indicate some form of dysautonomia, just not POTS. But so I was like, what the heck? Like, this could just be an easy way for me to like slowly improve my cardiovascular fitness, because basically it was like it started very, very, very slow. Literally like 2 minutes of cycling, or 2 minutes with your heart rate in a specific zone, and then like 1 minute with it below that zone, and then 2 more minutes within that specific zone, and then you're done. So like first day is like less than 5 minutes of actual activity, and then it would slowly ramp up day by day and week by week until you're doing like a 20 or 30 minute workout with like at a certain heart rate level, and then like a rest sort of, and then at a certain heart rate level and then a rest. And this just appealed to me as like a structured way to bring cardio into my life. Because I was so biased against it, so like weirdly squirrely about it. So having this like structured, regimented program specifically tailored for people with dysautonomia, I was like, yeah, cool. Like I can psychologically feel good about this. So I did that, and at the time it seemed like I was noticing like a positive trend in my heart rate variability and a slow drop over time in my resting heart rate, and like feeling better. So it really seemed like it was doing something for me. I don't know, my my metrics fluctuate a lot depending on what's going on with my life, so I don't think it's quite as cut and dry as that. But I will tell you the biggest win with bringing cardio back into my life, or into my life for basically the first time, mental health. I tell you what, like during this time I was having a rough time mentally. Just like a lot of depression, and like weird depression, like not normal depression like I was used to. And there were so many days where I would just be feeling so awful, and I would go downstairs to my little stationary bike and do my 20-minute cycling workout and just feel like a new person, just a brand new person, to the point where it became just like a primary coping mechanism for me, which is great. Like, it's great to have healthy coping mechanisms. And that, that exercise also allowed me to become physically fit enough to join a fitness studio, because prior to that, I was not able to make it through like any kind of group fitness class, and eventually I could, and I've been going there for over a year now, and it brings me so much joy. Like, whether it's a dance class or a spin class or like some kind of weightlifting hybrid whatever class, like I like there are days where I genuinely feel run down, and I know that it's probably would be better for my body to like take a rest day. And if I'm like not feeling good mentally, I'll just be like, well, this might not be good for my physical health, but it'll be good for my mental health. And sometimes you have to prioritize that. Not all the time, but sometimes that's a valid, balance to strike. And yeah, this is just, something that could probably possibly have been predicted. It's not like this is an unusual relationship to have with exercise. But I definitely don't have that relationship with like resistance training, because any kind of strength training is very like mentally and psychologically demanding for me, and therefore I find it stressful. Even if I do feel better after I do it, it's like it's not an escape. It's like a stressful thing that I have to like gird myself to before I do it. Whereas any kind of cardio exercise, I'm just like, this, like, mentally this feels easy. Mentally it's easy, even if physically it's really difficult. And yeah, there's just a really unique psychological benefit to that for me. So basically the point of this video is, don't let freaking Mark Sisson convince you that cardio is so bad for you that you should never do it. So ridiculous. I tell you what, the health and wellness space on the internet it's a crazy place. I also don't think that, I was young, and impressionable, and all of that. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about cardio for today. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your Saturday, and I'm gonna go continue getting my fingers all tarry and try to get the tar off of my pants from this car project. So yeah.